Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the largest Squidboards tournament on this side of the coast, or the world, or, where, depending on where you're watching it. I am Felbo, here joined with the grand old 9-champ. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back here. I know you've been on break for a minute, but we have match after match after match, action-packed, top teams, 32 of them cut down into this bracket, all best of 5 up until grand finals, and we are starting with a doozy. OnSight Gaming versus ıiκΔDelta.
Dude, tell us about it, man. Tell us about it. You said that there was a brilliant setup to this set, and you know the narrative more than I do. I want to hear it. I want to hear what makes this matchup so godlike here.
So, OnSight Gaming, formerly known as SKR, had a wonderful run at Squidstorm 2017, the land that was in Boston back in November. So they had beaten Legacy, which was a big monkey off their back. They had done a great job against STDX, got closer to beating them than anyone else in the tournament. And then they ran into ıiκΔDelta, and ıiκΔDelta beat them and continued their Cinderella run, one of the best performances we'd seen from ıiκΔDelta. So this is a revenge game. I don't know if they've played since then. I haven't watched it super closely, but I know that this is the first big tournament for OnSight Gaming branded, and to go up against the team that beat them on their best day when they were playing their absolute best is a big, big deal. There's stars all over both of these rosters. The 16 seed and the 17 seed means, at least theoretically, this should be the closest match of the first round. I can't wait to see how this goes. And again, like I said, there's names all over. You got Bruce, you've got Mifa, you've got Bread, and then on the other side, you've got Negas, you've got Copilot. I don't know if we have Rafa, the star of ıiკΔDelta. I didn't see Rafa's name on the roster, but if Rafa's there, that's another big name. Names up and down here should be awesome, and I can't wait to get into it.
Dude, you've hooked me. You've given me this nice setup. And also, I just want to quickly bring up, we're going to be seeing, pardon me, let me reintro that. We've seen a lot of games that have gone pretty fast this tournament so far. We've seen a lot of games that have gone pretty fast. Just quick 2-0s, quick 3-0s, whatever the situation grants. I'm excited for a game that goes really nitty-gritty down to the wire. And I also want to ask the chat, hey, share the stream. Give the stream a little bit of love. We lost a little bit of people in that break. Let's bring it back into it. We're getting into the meat of the bracket, right? Or the beginning of the bracket, the meat of the tournament. I'm very excited to see it. It looks like we're gonna have what stages? Tower Control Moray to start it off. Clan Blitz Humpback Pump Track. That's good though. That's gonna be fantastic. We got Rainmaker Port Mackerel. We got good old Splat Zones Inkblot and Tower Control Sturgeon if we make it that far. What do you think out of all those map choices is your favorite of the bunch?
Well, I see Moray, so I cross that out. I see Port. Port, so I cross that out. And I see Humpback, so I cross that out. So I would say that my favorite here is actually that very last one, Sturgeon Shipyard on Tower Control, because I'm just a bigger fan of Sturgeon Shipyard than a lot of people are, but I really love the way that the verticality there plays. I love how important it is to control the enemy's pit area, but you can take back the pit so big. Defense there is, the walls really have to come down if you're going to go all the way. And I think it's a very fun back and forth map, and the placement of that first checkpoint there where it's still up on that raised area, I think that makes for some really fun battles, and sometimes getting past that first checkpoint is all that's needed to get the win. So if we do go to a Game 5, that is my personal favorite that we've of this map and mode list. It's certainly not my favorite overall, but of the 5 we've got, it's the one that excites me the most.
Yeah, I mean, my personal favorite is Humpback Pump Track. I love Humpback. I love Clan Blitz. I more love Clan Blitz than I love Humpback Pump Track. Don't get me wrong. If I had to pick two, or if I had to pick one, Clan Blitz is definitely my favorite. But I'm gonna enjoy seeing how that squall ends up panning out. And plus, this is the same map rotation, same game mode rotation, I believe, unless I've butchered it. No, I actually have indeed butchered it. We are going to be seeing a different map rotation in the upcoming sets. My mistake there, because this will be the only match streamed of round number 1.
Right. And just to clarify here for everybody, this is single elimination. This is because we went and spent so long in the group stages, we don't run a loser's bracket here. So you've made it this far, but now it's, you win and you go home. Only quote unquote loser's bracket we'll have a bronze match. because, of course, 2 teams will lose in the semifinals, and to decide the bronze match, they will play one more to see who gets 3rd place and who gets 4th place. But for the most part, this is the playoffs, man. To throw a little love back to football, which is very topical thanks to Clan Blitz. You lose and you go home. Your tournament's over. So I know for a lot of these teams, this may be their first time in bracket, working in here. Some of the lower seeds going to have to play some big monsters. And, if you do go home early here, if you're one of those newer teams, it's important to recognize that you beat some good teams to get in here. And every time you make it to bracket and out of pools, that's one more step further. So I'm interested to see how this shakes out. And I do think that we've got the best match lined up here to watch.
Yeah, it's a great match to go into round number 1. And once again, the bracket is available, if I'm not mistaken, at inktv.media/GG. I could be mistaken. Or, never mind, tune back into twitch.tv/inktv/splat, where it is presented very clear for you on your screen right here. Any other matchups you want to give some predictions on while we are not going to be able to see them on stream until the next game?
Well, I think for a lot of the higher level teams, it would be not fun to predict. I think Saikai is going to take care of business. Tomo, Ethereal, those teams that we've seen today, they should be able to move on. But one that I'm interested in seeing here as I'm looking down the list, I think Extermination versus Kanton Knights is one that I would keep an eye on. Extermination was able to take care of business and win their pool, but we saw what Kanton Knights was capable of. I know Extermination, it's not the Extermination of old. That's not to downplay the players that are currently there, but that's one that I'm interested in seeing. It's not that I think Extermination is going to lose, but I want to see the statement that they make. So that's one that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And then aside from that, Envision and Downtown Marina. Downtown Marina, I believe Waki said earlier, was one of our young teams, and they played very well in their bracket, making it out. So that's one that I'll be interested in seeing, just how far some of our young Ink heroes can go. And then aside from that, Takeover and C Sharp, the 15 seed and the 18 seed, theoretically that should be a good match. So another one. Up and down, some really good matches to watch.
Yeah, Downtown Marina, you brought it up before. I've seen them before. I've gotten the pleasure of commentating them. I follow a couple of them on Twitter. They're a team to watch out for. If they can beat Envision is another thing. Let's see how that ends up panning out. But who is it? Kanton Knights? They made some really good plays. If you guys are just tuning in now and weren't able to catch the previous sets there in round robin, they made some plays, man. They had a great roller who would just go. He would overextend, but he would get the kills he needed to, and he validated his overextension with profit, and led his team to victory. I'm interested to see how far they are able to make it out of here. Kanton Knights playing a team I believe they might be able to take down if the seeding is seeded correctly, and it's similar to their play styles and skill level. But yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to have here. It looks like we are going to be starting to get into it. Nice.
Excellent. You see a long list, and that's not even all the players that OnSight Gaming has. They are known for biggest active rosters in Splatoon, and that's one of the reasons why you see them in a lot of tournaments, because someone's always available. And if you're on League mode, you'll probably see a few of them as well. A very, very active team. It'll be interesting to see what rollout they go with. I have been informed that Bread, their roller player, is not here for this tournament.
No.
So we will. I know. All the roller fans, sad face. But we're still going to see some good ones. Eggy there, that is also known as Squiddo for some people who may know by that name. And it's going to be a good one from them. Sometimes picking their roster is more difficult than picking their composition. But ıiκΔDelta, it looks like they only brought the 4. And again, I don't see Rafa's name. And Rafa hasn't changed names before, so I don't think they'll have Rafa. And that's certainly a bit of a blow to them. I have a lot of respect for Rafa as a player, a lot of respect for Copilot and Negas. So we'll see if they're able to put it together here. Negas, of course, being on Ink Radio with myself and Cryptic Spoon. So some of you may know Negas from that. And also, of course, Beacon and all of Long Island Splat, which he is the head of. So some names that people are familiar with here. And I really just want to get started in this.
So I have a question for you before we get started here. For the people who are unfamiliar with the game, do you want to tell people why you're not a big fan of good old Moray Towers, for people who don't know the map too well?
So Waki put it really well earlier when he was talking about why he doesn't like Snapper Canal. A lot of the map doesn't get used. Once you drop down from that top area, and even the second rung, to be perfectly honest, you really, the only time you'll go back there is if someone else has gone way back there and you need to address a threat, or when you're respawning and not super jumping. And I think that that's very inefficient. There's verticality, sure, but what's verticality if half of it isn't used? Beyond that, I don't like tower control specifically because it moves so quickly. And maybe I should like it for that reason, because that means less time on Moray Towers. But there's just an element of turtle in this map that I don't really like. You have to go very slow and then find one opening and then just go all the way in, and oftentimes that's enough to get you the win. It has nothing to do with the fact that I seem to get sniped all the time. It's really just the map design.
I do like how they did change up a little bit of the map here and there in terms of design and additions to it, but we are going to actually be seeing a squeezer coming out. A Ninja Squid squeezer on the side of OnSight Gaming coming out from Mifa. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. A lot of talk over the squeezer as of late. And I want to see if they can put the money where the words are. Right now, Iggy rocking some good plays here with the classic splatter shot, having to fight against a sloshing machine and a blaster at once. I don't know how they were able to manage to get out of that. They can see 100 different situations and they pick the best one for that case. But they are moving the point up a little bit more. Might be able to get it past this first checkpoint, but that is going to be a no. Just absolutely shot right off of it. The push has been completely stopped, and that is a lot of people dead from their team. Delta bringing it back home with their turn at bat now.
Yeah, and you understand why Squiddo was waiting around there, trying to just sneak around the tower, keep the pressure on it, but just too much identification. Negas and Copilot both converging on it. Now we're going to see those bubbles come out here. Negas plays a lot of long-range shooters here. Not surprised at all to see this. Now the Ray going to come in. Nega's going to have to run a little bit. They didn't get past that checkpoint, and that's big because that slows down a lot of it. You're going to see Opie getting an important kill there to slow that down, because that means there's only one in the middle as opposed to two. You see them have to back up here. And one thing I want to note, if anybody is going to be playing the squeezer, it's going to be Mifa, all right? We saw what Mifa was capable of doing with a number of different weapons. Copilot, though, going big. A lot of people mark down Copilot as one of the most underrated players in Splatoon, and you're seeing why right now, although I guess we probably can't call Copilot underrated anymore, like, if I'm being honest.
That was a great little pick, though. Oh, my goodness. They're hitting right at their feet. The degree of a turn they had to make in order to get that direct was really nice, but they nailed it in full, and here we are in this tough situation versus a shooter. Good splashdown to add to their survivability for a couple extra seconds, but Mifa going to be securing that kill, and now on the offensive. Everyone is down. I just realized it. Everyone is down on the side of ıiκΔDelta. Mifa is going to use this opportunity to move up a good amount. Got that gravity coming out for them, unfortunately.
Gravity plus.
Gravity plus. Got a lot of things set up really nicely. The wall, the laser, they had it all for a second. And accordingly, they also had the gravity. And a great little toxic miss denying this area. But they still don't want to let it go. They want to get rid of that checkpoint, but no, they are unable to. That is so unfortunate. Just a sliver of a control point left in that marker there, but they are going to be unable to secure it. This is a tough battle for this first checkpoint to go down. My gosh.
Yeah, and this is the kind of set that we thought we were going to see between these two teams. Very close. Like we talked about, a lot of history between the two. That's going to be another kill there for Copilot. The bubbles coming out again, and Copilot going to get taken down, not able to pop the bubbles in time. They are getting very, very close to that checkpoint. Going to have to be careful. They're moving back here to allow for super jumps, but if they're not careful, they might lose it. No, they get enough there, and they shut it down again. Another full wipe. Excellent defense being played by both these teams. That first checkpoint is still not fallen.
See, now this is a beautiful game. This is a beautiful game. It's just the back and forth of players testing their mettle against each other, one after another after another. One small misstep, one less pick could really just be the end of that checkpoint. If one team loses this checkpoint, it's going to be hard to bring it back. That being said, we're actually in a situation where they might be able to take this checkpoint. Eggy hopping on it at the checkpoint, trying to get a couple kills. The only one left alive on their team, but they have to pull back. Not in a good situation. Fighting against a blaster and a shooter right now is not going to be fortunate. And again, This stupid checkpoint remains untowered, unclaimed, as both remain just stagnant in their movement here.
Unreal stuff. I cannot believe we're still at 61-58. You see some pressure trying to be put on, but it's not going to be enough. Copilot has the ink armor, though. Copilot gets one. If Copilot's able to take down another here, that might be what they need. The ink armor is going to save the Splattershot's life. Copilot knows they're still there. Gonna have to run away, though. Throws down the Toxic Mist wisely, but caught out in the middle alone. Copilot not in a great position. Going to get converged on and take out one. Are you kidding me? Wow, okay, getting one there might actually be big because they had two that were coming back for a respawn. This might be what they need. They are still down. It's not by much, but they're still down. Mipha gonna wait back here and build up the GG Ray, as we call it, though. The Stingray just gonna wait right up here, and this one may end the way that almost every tower control match seems to end. Here comes the Stingray, used a little bit early. If a kill isn't gotten from this, this may not go their way. Only one's down, two down now. And they do have...
Oh, wait, it comes down to this. No.
Yeah.
Great shutdown. Maybe if the NZAP had lived there, they might have been able to roll it out a little bit and capture the point. But what kind of a game was that? That was so weird. We're at checkpoint 1.
Yeah.
they finally made it. But that game, ooh, so back and forth, down to the wire. Honestly, that game could have gone either team's way, rather, at any point. But the squeezer kill is going to be coming out, going to be getting 10 of those. All the players on the side of OnSight Gaming really coming out there, but Copilot was the sole standout player, at least in my eyes right there, on ıiκΔDelta that really carried some kills.
Yeah, Blaster on tower control. We've seen it so much, and that doesn't mean it doesn't work. So, yeah, Copilot going to need to be getting a little bit more support there. Oftentimes, you would find Copilot, it's one thing if one player gets all of the kills. KA doesn't tell the whole story. What was telling to me is that Copilot was very often the only person left alive in mid. And that's dangerous, that's scary when you have a shooter and you have a sloshing machine and the only person who's able to stay alive in mid is your Blaster. I mean, the Blaster needs some ink to move around there. Copilot got some amazing shots, which contributed to that big KA, but need to do a little bit better job of staying away. And to be fair, OnSight Gaming, they know how to slay. They got a lot of slayers on their team. So we'll see here what changes on Humpback Pump Track Clam Blitz, because I hear a lot of good things about Clam Blitz. I don't think I've ever heard a good thing about Humpback Pump Track Clam Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting map. It's a unique taste, I would describe it as. I'm not really sure why I enjoy it per se, but it's a map I enjoy seeing how, I guess, maybe I don't really like the stage now I think about it. It's a fun stage. It's a fun stage. I want to see how Clam Blitz is integrated into it.
Yeah, and we'll see. And I'm interested in seeing who they bring in. One name that you didn't see there was Ace. Ace is their OnSight Gaming's long-range shooter. You'll be seeing pros from him, and that's pretty much it. He loves pros. He's their paint control. So it would not surprise me at all if he came in here for Humpback Pump Track, because it is a very wide map. And of course, we talked about Clam Blitz. You got to have control, because if you have control, you can see where the clams are. You have easier access to the clams, and bubbles are so good on this mode. We'll see if Ace does indeed come in here. And I don't know. I think, well, we already talked about what ıiκΔDelta needs to do. Just stay alive, support those pushes. Copilot can't find himself in that situation too often. And we'll see now here in Game 2 if they have an answer.
This is a map you really need to be able to paint on. And we're going to have a custom bucket coming out. Very nice. We were talking about that a little bit off camera for a second there. I want to see what's up with that custom. Yeah, the baller and the sprinkler. You need to be able to paint well in this game mode, because you need mobility. You need to know where those clams are. You need to be able to get around, and you need to be able to score. Because sometimes you get the power claim, you get your opportunity. There's a wipe. The whole map is open to you. It's a world of possibilities. But there's no clams around you. You aren't able to score anything more past what you've just done. So there's a lot of resource management that sometimes comes into this kind of a game mode. It's about how many clams you want to be holding, how much team communication you want to have, and if you want to be holding 9 clams or 10. Because
9 clams or 10. That's a really interesting point, and I was about to hit on that. Not picking up that last clam there. It is very easy to hide 9 clams. It is not easy to hide a football. Sometimes waiting in that situation is what they need. And Mipha doing what Mipha so often does. Anyone who saw a full wipe, of course, anyone who saw Squidstorm knows what Mipha's capable of. Mipha, one of the best people doing it right now. Can't even call her underrated at this point. She's just really, really good at the game. Although apparently putting the ball in the basket is not doable. Finally, Mipha can do it, but it took about 3 more shots than it should have. And because of that, what probably could have been, I don't know, something down to the 60s or 50s instead, going to only be 80 points. And a bit of luck there for ıiკΔDelta there. I'm not even sure how much of that was great defense on their part. Just a few important misses. And I was about to say Negus needs to keep an eye on that right side. Kendall got to be careful. They do get the barrier broken, but they only have... Yeah, I was going to say they only have 1 down there. Copilot gets 1, but going to trade, that should be the end of it.
However, even though it was the end of it, that is a lead. And unfortunately, yeah, the double miss, the double whiff. That was so unfortunate. It's going to happen, though. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they get angsty about how long it'll take them to die. Sometimes it's like, okay, am I going to die right now, or maybe we'll get like another 2 steps out of it? I might as well throw the football now and hope it goes in. Unfortunately, sometimes it's just a little short, short, and unfortunately, it happened twice in a row there. But wow, this toxic miss pressure. Ace is kind of like locked out here. No matter what way they want to go, the toxic mist is always on. But those bubbles coming out, gonna be stopping that push. 2 footballs down on the side of purple blue right here. And it's a full wipe. This is their opportunity. There's 1 football. There's 7 clams on the side of yellow. They are gonna be reducing that score enough for them to take a lead, and then some. Another wipe coming out. They're bringing that down to 49, and it looks like Ace is going to get a little bit more clams there. They're going to be able to score a little bit more, bring it down to the 30s. We're going to have to see in a second here. It looks like, though, that Delta's defense was strong enough to keep it at only 40. But even then, only 40, like, they need to find a little bit more of a push right in. Even if they get that power clam, that's still like a lot of smaller clams that they're going to need to score to tie up the game and bringing it back.
It's going to be difficult for them to do that. And I have to say that entire thing started when they not even overextended. They pushed Ace back towards the middle, and Ace, in sort of a desperation play, had to put out those bubbles, and that really shut the whole thing down. They had their bubbles in place, too, to make the push, but they all just got taken out so quickly, there was no one left to play defense. Now the bubbles coming back again. Kendall going to pivot back towards the middle here, going to try to call out and put those bubbles in the right spot. You see them coming out now. Another one goes down. This is their opportunity. Opa is the last one to play defense. That's not a full wipe, but it may as well be. If they're able to put in the ball, they are. This might be the lead. You see the clams at the bottom of the screen, down to 58, but Mipha going to get a triple. Just hold down that trigger and keep walking. The splatter shot will take care of you. Great job there. And what strong defense. Oh, my goodness. Mipha coming up clutch, as she so often does.
Dude, strong defense, but a strong push. And right now, OnSight Gaming looking to bring it back right immediately. Just immediately grabbing that football the instant it drops. Just right there, waiting for it. Interesting strategy. Sometimes people don't like to hold it all the time. But, just OnSight Gaming going right in. Going to be knocking down that score by a lot. Wow! That score is flying down. Already at 18, and Mipha's up and above, going beyond, going behind, and going to be getting a flank. Just knocking out that football as soon as possible. Unfortunately, not going to be able to score any more clams. That's not a lot of more clams. If that next power shell goes in, all they need is, I think, about 10 or so smaller clams, which isn't too hard to grab between 3 other people.
This ink armor is going to have to be timed very, very well. They aren't going to have many more opportunities. And the armor doesn't come out at all. I don't know if there was a miscommunication there. They both had armor, and neither one of them popped it here. They have 2 balls, but they are pushed back there on the side. Everyone knows where they're at. Bruce is waiting here, has the baller. They don't have a Stingray. I'm not even sure they're going to need it. Mipha going to go in almost single-handedly. Now the baller's going to come in. The baller not going to get any kills, but they saved one and broke the barrier there at the very end. And OnSight Gaming looking very, very strong that round. And I want to see what Mipha's KA is. You have to call out Mipha. Mipha, more than any other player I've ever seen, just does not die. Like, I don't understand it. It's not even a lag thing. Mipha just finds ways to live that other players don't. And there you go. I mean, that's not a comp issue. They had 2 NZAPs and a pro. They shouldn't have lost control as much as they did. It was just kills. Kills tell the story, and a lot of it does come down to Mipha.
That being said, it ain't GG just yet. We still have a chance for ıiკΔDelta to run it back. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They got to get through 3 games, whereas, OnSight Gaming had 2 very strong games. I mean, at the end of that second game, I loved OnSight Gaming's push. As soon as they broke the barrier, they were coordinated and ready to dominate, which is a great tagline. They were immediately in there with the clams, just racking down that score so fast, just really separating the two scores. The contrast was huge by the end of that.
It really was.
Rainmaker, Port, Mackerel. How do you feel about this combination of mode and map?
I liked it a lot more in Splatoon 1. I'll say that. I think Stingray just makes this a thoroughly unenjoyable map and mode for me to watch. If I'm being perfectly honest and candid with you, it would not surprise me if both teams came out with at least 2. If OnSight Gaming comes out, you know that Bruce is going to be using the sloshing machine, and it would not surprise me at all if Mifa went back to that squeezer, because of course there's the wall that goes in there, there's all the range, and there is the Stingray. And for ıiκΔDelta, I can't even say it's a comp issue. They're using weapons that they can take control with. There was some issue there with the coordinated ink armors and the specials. That, I think, really came back to bite them because 2 or 3 of them went down there with no ink armors used. And I don't know what it is they need to do here. I think that OnSight Gaming is going to have the better comp for this. I think that they're going to come out with that aggressive push. You've seen both Opie and Squiddo using the splatter shots to put as much pressure as they can. I mean, it's clear what OnSight Gaming's what their idea is, right? Just go in, push deep, and if all else fails, let Mifa kill everything. I mean, it's a sound strategy, and it's what they use very often. So we'll see. I don't think they'll change up their game plan whatsoever. I think the onus is going to be on ıiκΔDelta to change what they're doing. And look at that. There it is. Exactly what we called.
Yep, 2 sloshing machines and 2 squeezers, and of course 2 NZAPs. And actually, never mind. Is this the same exact comp? It is indeed the same exact comp. Very interesting. Well, I mean, when a meta is a meta, you know, you gotta roll it a little bit. That being said, the Rainmaker is immediately going to be popped out on the favor of ıiκΔDelta, looking to try and weasel in right there. That auto bomb just creeping up. And are they going to pick it up right now? No, they are looking for a couple more kills. Look at OnSight Gaming just peeking out as soon as it happens. But that wall is going to be going up, trying to secure a couple of people who are trying to go for the Rainmaker right now. But now is their chance. The Stingray, rather, coming out. Good job just baiting out the people waiting in the wings for him to push a little bit too carelessly. And right now, it looks like a great time to push in. There is someone in the way. The bubbles are right there, but they are going to be able to get a couple bonus points in the midst of the wreckage there.
Yep, just too much bubbles. I was about to say the bubbles are going to be very difficult for them to get past, running right over on that side, and a well-timed pop. I like the control that I'm seeing here early, but as we so often say, the Stingray going to be used to do what the Stingray does, and gonna just running the double ray now, putting more pressure, and just like that, the control goes back to the middle for OnSight Gaming, and they have to be so careful here. That is ıiκΔDelta. If they go 1 or 2 down right here, you know the pressure's going to come. Getting a little overzealous there, Negus sharking, and going to be getting that kill. But now those bubbles are going to get taken down as well. One of them came out. I don't think it's going to have a lot of effect. And this is looking a lot more like Game 1 than Game 2.
That is true. We do see a Stingray coming out right now. But it looks like it's just OnSight Gaming slowly trying to take control over the map. They are losing a couple people in the process. Oh, that is going to be a kill down there. There's a chance. They're coming in from the side. That's another one down. Bruce is going wild. The shark himself trying to take down a couple people here, but realizing the situation was against him, pulling back and using that Stingray to once again just add some more pressure. But it is in their control one more time. They have not pushed it past yet. Oh, they just managed to. But the hair on their chin just managing to push it past 1 extra point. We're still 3 minutes from the end, so I doubt that's as far as we're going to see it go. But what a nice, intense push that was. Oh, next thing is missing. That's it.
It was very close there. Yeah, 64. I don't think I've ever seen exactly how far that gets, so now I have that down for reference. But there's not a lot of protection for this Rainmaker, now of course being that the Rainmaker is the last thing alive, and that's really the issue that we've seen. Every time they start to push in, they just get swamped way too quickly, and I'm not really sure what the answer is. Now the bubbles are going to come in. This may be the end of the game right here, pushing it all the way down. Kendall's the last one, and not going to be able to get the kill. And that's going to be it. OnSight Gaming, just one opening. I told you they have to be careful because you know that the pressure was going to come on, and a dominating performance there for OnSight Gaming. Well-timed, that double Stingray showing why it will always be meta. And once again, at the top of the KA, it's Mifa and Copilot.
Dude, the answer was Bubbles. It was a combination of a Stingray, Bubbles, and a lot of perseverance because they were able to make that one little hollow hallway of a push and really just, bring it home. Just bring it home, bring it in, get that 3-0, move on with their day. That being said, there were some very close games in that. That was not a fully one-sided complete sweep. If we look at it in numbers, like straight up this 3-0, I mean, I guess that you could say that's a sweep, but at the end of the day, there were some really close matches in there. Some really good situations of like, hey, one more pick, one more situation going right for ıiκΔDelta, and they might have been able to secure a couple games there.
Yeah, but that one situation, I mean, that's what separates the team. Look at the execution that you saw there from OnSight Gaming. When they had an opening, they took their openings much, much further. And for ıiκΔDelta, I'm not, they were some close games, but a 3-0 is a 3-0. I know they're going to look back and they're going to watch the VODs and see what needs to be done better. But like you said, just a couple moments of missed execution. But ıiκΔDelta is going to be back. They're going to have something else figured out. I know a few of the members are going to G5. And of course, we know Kendall's going to be at Beacon. So we'll still see him. But today was OnSight Gaming's day. They're going to move on to play Saikai. So, hey, you want to play with the big boys? Saikai's about as big as it gets.